What happens if we find fewer?
If we find fewer, then we'll ask Hitler what Mein Führer has to say. And I don't mean a literal penis. Tyler.
Sure.
What's going on?
I barely finished pooping before you called me.
Oh.
Barely finished. I mean, I'm pretty sure I still had a wipe or two.
I only have one wife, myself.
Well, you know.
Now, it's probably, if you haven't even left the bathroom yet, it's probably a silly question, but I'll ask it anyway. What are you drinking?
Well, I had just barely. I'm standing here in front of my. Well, I don't really have a cabinet for liquor, so I can't say a liquor cabinet, but I do have a large selection of area where I've set aside in which to put liquor. I'm going to call a liquor cabinet. I believe today I might actually have. I'm going to have a little bit of Bland's. Because I have some.
Okay.
And I don't know. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to make an old-fashioned this morning or not.
Well, let's go Blanton.
I'm torn. Blanton. Yeah, I'm going to be really boring this morning if I don't wake up properly.
It's true. I can't say whether or not you'll be boring if you do wake up, but well,
Make a solid point.
I've been in a cheap whiskey mood lately, and by cheap whiskey mood, I mean limited funds. Therefore, I've had to purchase cheap whiskey, and so I have my favorite cheap whiskey, and that is Evan Williams. I love this stuff as far as cheap whiskey goes.
Buffalo Trace was your favorite cheap whiskey.
No, Buffalo Trace isn't cheap, not around here.
Oh, pretty cheap around here.
Yeah. So, but, obviously, cheap whiskeys have so much more fire to them. And, it got to where, like, what was one of my favorite whiskeys previously was Monkey Shoulder, but I didn't realize just how clean and smooth Monkey Shoulder was. And after drinking these fiery cheap whiskeys for so long, I went back to Monkey Shoulder, and it was almost watery tasting in comparison to what I had made myself used to. It was crazy. But Tyler, why is it important to know what we're drinking?
Well, Sean, generally speaking, it's important to stay hydrated. So it's the reason why we would normally ask someone, "Hey, are you drinking enough fluids and throughout the course of your day to stave off, I don't know, diphtheria, diarrhea, who knows what it could be. Probably not diarrhea, but same concept. In this particular case, I believe the reason why you were asking me, why the reason we would ask each other, why we've asked what we've asked before, why someone would ask someone, is because it's the Super Whiskey Bros podcast.
It's almost certainly the Super Whiskey Bros podcast. Now, you don't know what today's topic is any more than they do, but actually, they, at this point in the podcast, not at this point in history for them relative to us, but at this point in the podcast, they know more about the topic than you do because they will have seen the title and you haven't yet.
I have not read the title yet. We have not given it a title yet. You have. I have not. We are not a thing.
That's true. We are multiple things. Two things.
Yeah.
If the Bible is to be believed, my wife and I are one thing.
Well, it's not that I don't believe the Bible as much as I've seen the two of you in different rooms before. So that one's confusing for me.
Yes. Now, that said, though, today's topic, as I will introduce it to you, is this. Fast food tier list.
Okay.
And I think we could make this a while because you and I are such opinionated people that I think we could talk even about this for a period of time.
Is that depressing? I think it's depressing.
I think it is, yeah.
Well, then shoot.
Okay. Wait a minute. Oh, I know what I did. I said, oh, I'm an idiot. There we go. Okay. So, here's how it's going to be. Everything that we have will, of course, have the classic tier list. The S, A, B, C, D, F. There is another option in this case. And that is never been.
Okay. It's pretty important for that sort of thing.
Yes. And I've given them this is unimportant for anything you'll be saying, but just so everyone can know how I have all the scores averaged and whatever. I have assigned numerical values to each of them, and that is how the averaging system works. So rather than saying, oh, it's this and it's that, I have a spreadsheet made up, and I have numerical values assigned to each letter grade, and then my spreadsheet will automatically average out our answers and see how we feel about both things.
Marvelous. Sean's on Excel.
I'm actually not. I don't pay for Excel. I'm on Google Sheets.
Oh, that also works.
So what I'm going to do here is I actually I have all the ones that I currently have set up, and then I sorted them alphabetically. And so that way we're not going in any particular order. Well, it's technically alphabetical order, but it just mixes everything together so much that we can't tell. So anyways, here's the first one. Tier list. Number 1, where do you place Five Guys Burgers and Fries?
Five Guys Burgers and Fries is an S tier fast food restaurant. Hands down, no question. It's the perfect place. Now, I will say, if you've gone more recently, in the past 2 years, I think it's actually gone down a notch. Not because of the quality of food going down. The quality of food's still amazing. But they've added a lot of items to their menu. And there's nothing wrong with any of them. But that does lower it for me. So, like, now you can get a chicken sandwich, or you can get a banana milkshake. And there's probably nothing wrong with that. But there is something about walking and being like, I'll have a burger. I'll pick from the options to put on my burger, and I'll have some fries. That was just something special. So still S. But I wish they would have kept it simple. There's something just really special about that for me.
I gotcha. So, I've not been to Five Guys in the last 2 years since they started adding all the things you've been talking about. So, for me, they don't even have that going against them. So, Five Guys is S. I'm not going to say that Five Guys is the perfect fast food place. It's as far as when you think of classical fast food, you do of course think of burgers, especially diner style burgers. It's very, very rare to find a fast food place serving non-diner style burgers.
Smash burgers.
Yeah. And so they are by far the best of that. So I wouldn't say it's the perfect fast food place, though, because I do view other things as good fast food places. But yeah, so absolutely Five Guys gets an S. It is the absolute best of its class.
Zero chance that I would not disagree with that at all.
All right. The second one is Burger King.
So, I have to think objectively here. I have to say this, realizing that I'm going to have to do other burger joints.
Uh-huh.
I would probably say put them. I would probably say put them at a B.
Okay.
They're good.
Okay. Oh, and just so you know, you and I both said S, and the last one said averaged out to an S.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. So just letting you know where because the official
That's how
scores
averages
are
work.
average. So I'm letting you know where it wound up at. Okay. So, uh, is that all you're saying about Burger King? Just yeah, they're all right. They're there.
Eh, they have better burgers
Mm-hmm.
than a place like McDonald's. Their
Mhm.
burgers are. No other menu item
Mm-hmm.
is better than the equivalent, let's just say, McDonald's menu item. They'll have a slightly better chicken, completely inferior fries,
Mm-hmm.
completely inferior chicken nuggets.
Mm-hmm.
Their fish was so completely inferior it went away in almost no time at all. It's just, if they didn't have better burger, they'd be out of business.
Mm-hmm.
That's just what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
those things are very good. So B.
Mm-hmm. So for me, you're right. Burger King. Also, Burger King does have a better burger than McDonald's in every way. My contention is that, with the exception of chicken, Burger King's chicken is nasty. But with that one exception, they are better than McDonald's in every way. I guess chicken and fountain drinks. There we go. Chicken and fountain drinks. McDonald's has them beat out. I don't know what McDonald's does to their fountain drinks. I think they put cocaine
They
in
are
them.
special. They must. I've been told it's the water filtration system, but I refuse to believe that.
I've also been told that they do something very specific that no one else does. So whatever it is they do, they have a specific special agreement with the Coca-Cola company that their syrup is delivered slightly differently, and while they're there, they have an undisclosed different method of how they store it. And so there's something very specific that they do differently than what other people do. Um, uh, because it is different, right? Because if I go to a McDonald's, I can go to any McDonald's and they'll have the best fountain Coke. And it's not just the way that their dispenser is. It can't be the dispenser, because if they have a Coke Freestyle machine,
Mm-hmm.
it's still better at a McDonald's. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about Burger King. McDonald's is on the list. We can talk about it then. Yeah. So, but for me though, Burger King is significantly better than McDonald's in every way, but those two. But I am still not a huge fan of Burger King, and I do have to make room for other burger joints that I find to be better than Burger King. And knowing that it is better than McDonald's, but it is worse than so many other places, significantly worse than Five Guys, and worse than
Mm-hmm.
even other of the classical fast food places. I had to give Burger King a C.
I think that's fair. I think I was just
Mhm.
thinking about how much further down the burger chain I would put it than Five Guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so then we have so in that case, the average in numbers for this comes out to a 3.5, which is, we could call that high B or low C.
A high B
Or
or a
sorry,
low
no,
C?
I'm
Other way around?
backwards. Yeah, other way around.
Gotcha.
I'm dead tired.
Fair.
Okay, next is Captain D's.
So I actually like Captain D's.
Mm-hmm.
I put Captain D's substantially above Long John Silver's.
Mm-hmm.
Literally every single comparable menu item is better, and there are no exceptions. Captain D's is better.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, are you putting these in categories? Like, are you separating like the places that you would say burger joints are different from places that are seafood places?
I take that into consideration when I give my ranking, but I don't have like a
Gotcha.
list. These are the burger places. These are that. These are this.
Good enough. I'm debating between a B and an A. There's no way it's an S tier ranking by any stretch of the imagination. It's not bad. It's very good. I enjoy it. I love getting a 3-piece like fish and chicken combo meal from there, or like fried shrimp. Their fried shrimp's great. You know what? It is great. Give it an A. It's very, very good.
Yep.
I was struggling there.
Yeah. So I honestly did contemplate giving Captain D's an S, and not because
I did too, I guess.
Not because it deserves an S by its own merits, but my mind was saying it's obviously, when it comes to seafood fast food, it is obviously best in class. And my thought was saying, well, best in class, does that mean S? And then I came to the conclusion that no, there has to be something special about it to get an S ranking. It's not, best in class gets you an A, it gets you an automatic A, but what is it that brings an A to an S? And whatever that is, Captain D's doesn't have it. It's delicious. It is my favorite fast food seafood place. It absolutely blows Long John Silver's out of the water. But it doesn't it doesn't have anything super special about it. Really, the only thing I think that's truly special about it is the fact that we can compare it to Long John Silver's.
Yeah, it is, and it's absolutely the better version of Long John Silver's. I wish I knew which one. I mean, we could Google, but I don't care enough to. But I wonder which one actually came first.
I have no idea. I hadn't even heard of Captain D's until I came across one in Kentucky, and I have one a little ways away from here. So here's proof that Captain D's isn't an S rank for me. I have one about 20 minutes away, and I haven't been here since I moved here.
Okay, so the reason why it wasn't an S ranking for me is I spent the last 2.5 years working 3 minutes away from one, and I've had it like 4 or 5 times in 2.5 years.
Yeah,
and I could walk to it if I wanted to. I did have it a couple times because it is good.
Yeah. All right. Next.
Let me throw this in there.
Oh yeah, sure.
That was my ultimate reasoning for saying A instead of S. If I worked 3 minutes away from a Five Guys Burgers and Fries, I'd own stock in the company.
Absolutely.
That's the difference there.
Yeah, that's the only reason why I haven't gone to that's the only reason why I haven't gone to Five Guys literally every day is because there's not one close by, and actually I don't even think there's one in Tulsa. So that means that I have to go all the way to Oklahoma City.
So this is pretty far out west for them. They're going to be very far spread out when they get down to where you are.
Yeah. So I would actually, my Five Guys is farther away from me than yours is from you, because Oklahoma City is almost 2 hours away. I have to drive almost 2 hours to go to a Five Guys.
Well, I've got one in Muncie now, so yeah, very close by for me. Technically speaking. Go ahead. I didn't mean to throw that back out there.
No, that's fine. Next one is Chick-fil-A.
Oh, well, this is a no-brainer. I mean, I haven't looked deeply into their menu changes over the past couple of years for me to say the same type of thing I said about Five Guys. But I mean, they're easily best in class. I don't think that's a debate. I don't think it's a debate for anyone, because there's no way a company that could be as controversial as that and have so many people going like, you shouldn't do that, and so many people being like, I do not care. I'm going. I'm still going. It's too good. And obviously you and I are on the opposite end of the aisle from that part of the argument, but still, I don't think there's any potential debate that it's not best in class. I don't think anyone could say it isn't. I think they're S ranking.
Okay. Yeah, so Chick-fil-A does have that really big controversy about, how they handle their business and what they do, and
Which, by the way, try to not let that affect me into a higher rank and continue.
Yeah, yeah, and I deter for things like this that I wouldn't let a company's stand on something affect my rating. So because of that, I have to give them an S based off of their food. Absolutely, I do. I don't have a choice in the matter. Now, if I did allow the way the company stands and how they act and how they believe and who they donate money to, if I did allow that to affect my decision, I'd have to change my ranking away from an S. It'd be more like an S plus plus plus.
A T.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good Lord, I love this company.
I think it's all pretty fantastic, and I'm not upset about ever getting it. Always a good time.
It's fantastic.
And again, like, there's no way you can have that much going on against you and still have celebrities being like, yeah, I'll still go to Chick-fil-A. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's how you know you're the best of the best.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure you watched the video that I posted of me driving to Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, it's relatively close for you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Chick-fil-A is freaking amazing. All right. So next, a place that you actually have very, very, very close by, and I don't have one at all. Culver's.
Okay. What class does Culver's belong? So they're a burger joint, technically speaking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You really think about ice cream first when you go there.
Mm-hmm.
At least I do. I assume most people do because that's kind of their shtick.
Yeah.
I have to put them pretty high though. So they have a very big menu, which annoys me. I hate huge menus. I don't care for it. So they have ice cream that is just as good as going to Dairy Queen. It's on the same
Dairy
level.
King.
No, it's nowhere near the level of Dairy King. Dairy King's phenomenal. I have one in Greenville, and it's the best place in the world. It's like fast food, but a mom and pop one-off shop. It's amazing. Their burgers are better than McDonald's burgers. They, wow, they're an A. I did give Burger King a B, so that leaves the perfect space I was looking for. They're an A.
Mm-hmm. I also gave Culver's an A. It's that perfect mixture of ice cream shop and burger joint. And I said before that McDonald's has the best fountain drinks. That's not 100% true, because we do absolutely have. You have to. You can't say McDonald's has the best fountain drinks after you've had a Culver's root beer. That is.
I have had a Culver's root beer.
Oh, like go there today and get a root beer. It is so good. They they don't make it in house, but it is Culver's made. Like they do have Culver's has their own root beer. It's sort of like going to a Dog and Suds joint. It's not made in house, but Dog and Suds has their own root beer. And which, by the way, that is the best root beer is Dog and Suds. Let me throw that out there. You will never find better root beer than Dog and Suds. But yeah, I have to give. I think I can't remember if I already said this or not, but I do have to give Culver's an A. For that perfect combination of the best root beer and freaking good ice cream. And so the overall burger experience is better from Five Guys, but the piece of meat itself, that super thin smashed burger basted in butter, there's not a lot of burgers that are better than that. That is so good. I love their butter burgers. It is
very good. They're still a tick below. Five Guys. It's number one. But it is better than going to McDonald's or Burger King.
Yep. Okay, next one we just got through talking about. Oh, it says I do have a place in here. There's lots of places here in town that it's similar to Culver's. They don't do the butter burgers, but it is a burger shop. But then they also have fantastic ice cream. Like actually, I would say this place is Brahms. It's called Brahms, and I would say that the ice cream may be better than Dairy Queen. But so Brahms, it started off as just a dairy, like it was literally a dairy. Then it became a grocery store, and then it became a burger joint. So if you go there, it's literal like straight from the dairy quality dairy products that they sell. But then they also sell some random groceries because they're also a grocery store. But then they also are a full-fledged, flat-out burger joint. So you have that too, and it's the coolest place. The burgers aren't as good as Culver's, but it's like literal dairy quality everything. If you buy milk, cheese, ice cream, whatever, it came straight from their dairy. It's not. I don't think it's a local dairy at this point, but it's awesome.
I think I've heard you talk about them before. It sounds familiar.
Yeah, they don't make my very favorite burgers. Like if I'm like I want a burger, I don't think I would ever, with my other options I have here, I don't think I'd ever say Brahms is where I want my burger from. But I have gone to Brahms just recently for ice cream.
Full ice cream.
Okay, speaking of ice cream, Dairy Queen.
You know, I can't ever rank them super high because they specialize in the ice cream. Their food is just, it's just not great.
Their food is acceptable.
It's acceptable, but I'm just like, ugh, who cares? But their selling point is the ice cream. But the problem I'm having here, I can think of multiple places where I can get better ice cream. And every place has better food. So I'm going to actually put them pretty low. No, I'm not going to put them too low because I will say at the end of the day, if I think I'm going to go get some ice cream with the family, last night we did this. We wanted dessert, we wanted ice cream, and we picked that place specifically. So I guess they do still kind of. I gotta still give them a C. I don't give a crap. If they went away forever, I would not care.
Yeah, nothing special about Dairy Queen. As far as on this particular list that I have set up goes, they are best in class. But I just got through talking about some place that was better, so I can't, in good faith, give them the automatic A for best in class. Because I just got through talking about a place that I liked better for ice cream.
Well, that depends. If you're saying best in class, or you're saying as an ice cream shop, they're best in class.
Well, this was my ranking. As thinking about it just as an ice cream shop, they would have been best. They're best in class on the list that I have presented here. But I just got through talking about a place, Brahms, that I find to have better ice cream.
And so I was just talking about Dairy King, which is better for my local area.
Yeah, and so for that reason, I can't give them the automatic A for best in class because I just got through talking about a place that was better. But so because that, I just bumped it down a little bit from that. They're still, as far as ice cream places go, best in class on the list that I have. Many of the places that I have listed have ice cream. And Dairy Queen has the best ice cream of all the places on this list. And so for that reason, I have to give them a fairly high ranking for that. And there's also that nostalgia factor that we used to, every great once in a while, we go to that that Dairy Queen on the corner of, what is that, 19th or 17th? I don't remember. The Dairy Queen on that corner there by Subway.
Yeah,
on the west side, yeah. And we'd stand in line, and it would be hot, and we'd go in there, and we'd get a dilly bar.
Always a dilly bar.
And that was like that nostalgia and those memories. Like, I'm sure that only happened. Like, my memory is like, and we would go there every time Mom went to Aldi's, which was once a month, and we'd do that. I'm sure we didn't go nearly that often, But that's how
No, there's no way.
my memory was like, yeah, and that was the best. And
I see where your mind's at with that, and I get it.
Mhm.
And I think if you were to say here's where I'm coming from. I don't have a nostalgia factor for them at all. Like I have the same memory you do of doing that. Like I remember that. Um, it was a pretty rare occurrence. I don't get a single bit of that nostalgia factor when I go. I could drive 5 minutes in either direction away from Dairy Queen and get better ice cream. Now, granted, it's because of my local places, because Ullery's is within 5 minutes of Dairy Queen.
Yeah, and
so it's a layup, easy, better ice cream.
Yeah, and ever since Ullery's opened their own shop that you could go to, whenever you want, there's no reason ever to go to Dairy Queen in that town.
True. This is true, and also the food is just bad. It is not good food. The burgers are. I've never had a good burger. I've never had good chicken chunks. I've never had good anything. And when I say like I've tried it a bunch of times. I've got my own food ordered from there maybe 3 times in my whole life. Never enjoyed it. I've taken a bite of kids' food or excuse me or whatever when they'll order something.
I don't dislike their popcorn.
It's just bad. I never tried it. I was too concerned to. Because if their chicken and burgers were that bad, there's no way I was going to put their seafood in my mouth.
I got you. That makes sense. So that's
I gotta stick with. I'm sticking with the C. It's bad.
I did have to give B because as far as ice cream places go, best in class on this list. But I couldn't give it the automatic A because we were just talking about better ice cream places. So
yeah. Like I said, I can. My view there has changed because I can walk to arguably the best ice cream place.
Yeah, Ullery's is the best ice cream place I've personally ever been to. That or the Cold Stone Creamery. That's a really good too.
See, I went there again recently without the the wow factor of having never seen what they do before. I would rather go to Ullery's.
Yeah, I believe it. Okay, next one is Denny's.
Denny's. I don't care. I don't care about Denny's. Like at all. I mean, they're the other version of an IHOP, which is another place I don't care about. I don't care. They're fine. But I mean, when I go there, I just order whatever kind of a breakfast thing that I can mush all together and eat in a pile. I don't give a crap about either. You're going to ask me about IHOP too, I'm assuming. I'm going to go ahead and preemptively tell you Denny's and IHOP both get a C for me. They're indistinguishable for me because all the things that make IHOP different, I don't care about. And the things that make Denny's different than IHOP, I don't care about.
Okay. So here's the thing for me. So Denny's, right? They have, their pseudo fast food, close enough to fast food that I could put them on this list. And they have the, they have really, it's diner style food, and they have the salad bar, and they have all that. And so really knowing all that Denny's has to offer, I have to give it a ranking of never been.
Yeah.
I have a grand sandwich.
Never been to Denny's in my life.
Don't bother. I mean, like, go to any mom and pop diner shop in your town instead, because they're going to have a better version of anything you get at Denny's. That's the reason why I never go. If I'm like, man, I really want breakfast, I'm not going to go like, man, I want to go to IHOP or Denny's. What's wrong with you people? Go somewhere unique if you're going to get breakfast food. Even, I don't know if you've been to Carver's in a very long time.
Long time.
Carver's has the best breakfast on the planet. Just by leaps and bounds. It's incredible. I'm not going to tangent that, but yeah, consider I live in a town where I could triangulate better breakfast places than IHOP or Denny's. I don't care.
Now, best breakfast on the planet is what you gave to Carver's, which would imply that it's better than our breakfast.
Well, we are not an establishment.
All right, next after Denny's, this one's a layup. Fazoli's.
Fazoli's. What's the F? Does it get an F?
You can give things Fs.
Here's why I'm giving it an F.
Okay.
In my town, you can stand on Fazoli's
Mm-hmm.
and you can almost throw a rock and hit an actual Italian restaurant that is ran and owned by an Italian man.
Mm-hmm.
The difference is shocking.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I will never go to Fazoli's. If you were talking about nostalgia, you are, and that's fine. I'm going to hit you with something. When's the last time you've been to Fazoli's?
Let's see. Not long before I moved away from Richmond.
A very long time ago.
It was been
years ago.
It's been a couple years. I would have went significantly more recently had I still lived where there was a Fazoli's.
Okay.
There's no Fazoli's here, but I would, if there was one here, I would absolutely be going to it.
They don't make the breadsticks buttery anymore. And it was the only thing that I cared about from Fazoli's.
Mm-hmm.
Now, all of you, have, for the most part, rightfully so, accused me of being a very picky individual.
Yes.
Now, this is fair. The older I've gotten,
mm-hmm.
and the more I've started having people cook for me that use spices,
mm-hmm.
and going to restaurants that actually represent the types of cuisines properly,
mm-hmm.
I am shockingly less picky. I had bruschetta the other day. It was very good.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. I love Gallows.
Mm-hmm.
Gallows is phenomenal. It is shockingly good. The fact that someone would say, I would go to Fazoli's when Gallows exists,
Well, I'll be hanged.
unless you look me in the eye and say, it is because I have $15 in my pocket right now,
mm-hmm.
and I need to pay for food for 2 people to go to Fazoli's. You know what? I'll accept your answer. That's
mm-hmm.
fine.
Yep.
But if you're like, no, we're going to compare the two Italian places.
Mm-hmm.
Fazoli's is claiming to be American Italian. F.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, 2 things about that. The first one is Fazoli's is a very good American Italian. And what I mean by that is it's not at all, nor has it ever claimed to be traditional Italian. You know, Gallows is Italian. Fazoli's is American Italian. And actually, you have another... So here's the thing. Fazoli's is by far the best fast food American Italian place that there is. By far. Secondly, you have another place in your town that is American Italian. That is not even a fast food place. I have to call Fazoli's fast food because they have a drive-through. Like,
Sure.
no matter the fact that they encourage you to go in and sit down and have the waiter come out and take your order and all that, if you have a drive-through, you're fast food. Period. And actually, no, they don't have the waiter come and take your order, do you? You go up to the front and place your order and go sit down.
It's different than it used to be, yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes they'll bring it to you. Sometimes they'll call you. But either way, though, it doesn't matter. You know, it is fast food. It just has a bigger dining room than most fast food places. So they just encourage you to sit down. But you have a place that's an actual sit-down restaurant in your town that's American Italian that's worse than Fazoli's. And that would be Olive Garden.
You are out of your mind.
Olive Garden
if you
is
think
disgusting.
Olive Garden is worse than Fazoli's.
So here's my rubric for saying if one restaurant is better than another. If I eat their food and it tastes good, and I eat the other place's food and it tastes bad, and the place that tastes good is better. I've never had anything besides breadsticks that was even remotely tasty from Olive Garden. Olive Garden is nasty.
First of all, Olive Garden does not have good breadsticks.
That's what I'm saying.
I do not like the breadsticks from Olive Garden.
Yeah. What I'm saying is though but their breadsticks are better than any other thing they have on the menu. I guess their salad, but you can't screw up a salad. I don't. If a restaurant has good salad, I don't count that.
I am having trouble fathoming how you could have came to that conclusion. Have you only been one time just had crappy food or something?
I'll have you know I've been twice to Olive Garden.
Oh my goodness. I don't know how to talk to you. I'm having trouble processing a comment. You are looking... Are you seriously telling me you Fazoli's better than Olive Garden?
Yes, I am. I'm absolutely saying that.
Okay.
Also,
How
also
am I
here,
supposed to argue with that?
well, here's the thing too. You do realize that even though I'm white, I'm not a white woman. I'm not allowed to like Olive Garden. I'm not allowed to like Starbucks, and I'm definitely not allowed to like Panera.
Panera's fine. They're okay. I had to go to so many business meetings at Panera. I just get used to it. Um, corporate America thinks going to Panera is a fun, cool meeting. It's not, but they think it is.
Because you get you can buy a subpar sandwich for $35, and this is expensive.
like-
It must be the good place to go.
Do you guys want to get a coffee with your bagel? No, I don't even want to be here. You made me come here. It's an hour and a half from my house.
At least we can agree that Panera is stupid.
Panera's kind of dumb. I'm having some trouble here. I don't know how to talk to you. Their soup is great.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just good. It's great. They have multiple options of soups, and all of them are great.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care for their breadsticks. I like them eating them in tandem with other things on the menu, and that's fine. Doesn't really matter. Now, the jokes about them are pretty accurate. However, it's like, everything on the menu is quite salty. Yes, that's true. But you're comparing them to Fazoli's.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. So if everything on the menu is salty, that's not something I would complain about. So
Same here.
I can imagine that I wasn't impressed by the soup that I had. And the reason why I say that is because I know that every meal comes with soup, salad, and breadsticks. And I don't remember the soup at all. So... Okay, but here's the thing though. Here's the thing though. I did give Fazoli's an S ranking because I had the special nostalgia factor. Well, because I had to increase it from its automatic rating because of the nostalgia factor, and it for my ranking system it did have to get an automatic A because I had to give it best in class. So here's the thing. Here's the thing. I defy you to find a better specialized American Italian fast food place than Fazoli's.
So here's the thing. You're right that they're the best in that specific category of no one else has a drive-through menu to put their spaghetti through. But I'm still not going to say... This is where I will make the exception. If we have three things to go through, the one that is the best of the best, yeah, you should get an A because you've conquered the competition. Just because you're the only person who thought, what if we put meatballs through a drive-thru window? That doesn't mean that you're good. If there were three people, if you had three people on your list that did that, I'd be like, all right. So I'm going to put it to you this way. You still, because every restaurant in the world started this after COVID. They started doing the,
curbside and stuff.
Curbside pickup, whatever.
Yeah.
Therefore, I'm going to put them on the same level as Fazoli's drive-thru window, because I don't know if you've tried to do that recently. I have daughters who like Fazoli's. It takes 15 minutes to get through the drive-thru line. That's just as long as curbside. So I'm going to give them the same area there, and say you're full of it. That's so stupid.
Okay. So do you know what it sounds like to me? Do you know what it sounds like to me? And I might be in the same boat as you in this case. But I haven't experienced this yet. You know what it sounds like to me? It sounds to me like you're just bitter they changed the way they make their breadsticks.
I am though, because it killed the nostalgia factor.
Yeah, and I honestly, I very well might agree with you if I'd been there after they screwed up the breadsticks. But I didn't even know they had.
Right, I will say, because we went through the other day, and they're much drier, and that was kind of like the thing, right? That was like that's how we that was our love language, was giving people the buttery ends of our breadsticks. but to start with the fact that their breadsticks are drier, and maybe the two times that I've had to go because for some reason my daughters love Fazoli's, maybe we just got really dry batches. I don't know, but we had quite a few, and all of them were bad. And the sauce is like, it's like if you made an Italian sauce with way too much flour. You know when you get, like you're making gravy and you put too much flour in it before you put more milk in it? That's what all their sauces are like. We're talking way too long about this. I hate it.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Hardee's.
You forget, maybe. Hold on one second.
Yep.
You got it, Rim? Okay. That's okay, baby. You know, you hadn't been back in a week. Just remember for tomorrow, okay, baby? It's not a big deal.
No, I didn't know it was on.
That's okay. I'm not worried about it.
Because I couldn't hear it.
No big deal, baby. No big deal. You said Hardee's.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm. You know, I kind of want to. I give them a B.
Okay.
I don't go there frequently. But when I do go, I'm always like, oh, that was good. And then they always have something ridiculous on their menu that I want. Like last time I was there, they're like, would you like to add brisket to your burger? I'm like, yeah.
Why'd you even ask?
Was it good brisket? Absolutely not. But it was brisket on my burger. So I'm like, all right, you know what? Fine. I see. They're innovative in ridiculous ways that make me happy. And if you don't go, but every like 4 or 5 months, it's different every time. So I'll give them a B.
Yeah. So for me, Hardee's is the manliest fast food place that exists.
It is though.
Like I go there, and I'm like, yeah, give me a basic burger. They say, okay, here's your basic burger. And it's literally 2 pieces of buttered Texas toast with a 2-inch thick burger and a little bit of mayonnaise and mustard.
Yeah.
And that is
it's really, really good.
Like, wow, I can feel my chest hair growing with every bite from a Hardee's sandwich. I also gave it a B. It's fantastic. I love Hardee's. There are better burger joints by far for Hardee's than Hardee's. And they don't get it's hard to get better than Hardee's. But there are places that are better. But it's just fantastic. I technically don't have a Hardee's here, but I kind of do.
Do you mean you have the whatchamacallit, the other thing?
Yeah, the I can't think of what it's called. It's in my town, and I can't think of its name. The Carl's Jr. Yes, Brooke just
Carl's
told me.
Jr.
Carl's Jr.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, so do you know what all the like? Did you notice that they had the crazy Hardee's commercials with all the hot girls and everything, and then they stopped?
Oh, they're just like the most ridiculous things possible. Yeah.
Do you know what the story about that is?
Story about why they did them or why they stopped?
Both.
I'm sure they did them just to be shocking. I mean, because this is around the same time. Remember, they started these around the same time as like the GoDaddy commercials. And this is like the very tail end of like the hyper sexualized ads. They're like the most, and people were like starting to be like, "All right, can you stop this now? Like, we get it. Just chill."
The story is even funnier. It started, I think, in 2002 or 2003 when Carl's Jr. bought Hardee's, and now Carl's Jr. owns Carl's Jr. and Hardee's. And that was the advertising that Carl's Jr. had always used, and so now they just started using the same commercials for everything and just changing the name to Hardee's if it was an area of the country where you had more Hardee's. And then after a little bit, people started complaining because Hardee's has always been a family restaurant. And they made the determination, the hires up at Carl's Jr. Hardee's did make the determination that was not in line with the family-friendly nature of the Hardee's brand. And so they stopped. They still do those commercials for Carl's Jr., but they no longer do them for Hardee's.
I don't know that I've seen... Well, I should take it back because I don't watch TV. So I guess I really shouldn't say that I know they don't, because they might. But okay, that makes sense.
Yep. Okay, next one is IHOP. You earlier gave IHOP a preemptive B. Or no, preemptive C. Preemptive C. Yeah, I was looking at the wrong number. You gave IHOP a preemptive C. IHOP is not my favorite place. But again, I did, and we can no longer use the excuse of they're the only one that does it. They give but yeah, that you can only use the excuse that they're the only one that does it. I had to give IHOP best in class for diner style fast food. So not my favorite, nothing special. It was my favorite in this category, but not my favorite place to go. So there's nothing special about them, so there's no way I could ever justify giving more than that. I did give them the automatic A for best in class.
They're the same thing as Denny's.
Yeah, but they're better, I imagine. For everything that I've heard, I've never been to Denny's, so I can't actually compare it. From everything I've heard, IHOP is a little better.
I'll let you say whatever you want about this because obviously we're both. You're saying you're just kind of going off speculation. That's fine.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, from my experience,
same
IHOP
thing.
is best in class.
They're the same thing, and they're both like if you've had both of them,
Mhm.
and then someone comes up to you and goes, "You want to go to IHOP or Denny's?" You'll go, "I don't care.
Okay, so
I
now
don't care."
Now I'm gonna go down and I'm actually gonna name a place. I'm gonna skip down to the bottom of the alphabetical or near the bottom of the alphabetical list, so I can give you a place that, from what I've heard, actually is identical to Denny's, and then I'll give you a chance if you want to change your IHOP rating to something else.
You're gonna say Waffle House.
I'm gonna say Waffle House.
Waffle House has fewer options than Denny's or IHOP,
Mhm.
and the things that they have are all better than Denny's or IHOP.
Okay, so are you giving Waffle House? Do you give automatic A's for best in class?
I feel like if there's three, I think that was the rule that I had kind of set.
Mhm.
It was when we said that. I kind of said it. I said it arbitrarily, but it made good sense to me when I said it. As long as there's three, as long as there's at least three things.
Okay, so you'd give Waffle House then a.
I'm going to give Waffle House an automatic A. Denny's and IHOP gets a C. And that sounds ridiculous because IHOP and Denny's will have huge menus in comparison. I don't know if you've ever seen it. I mean, you've been to IHOP. The menu's like 6 pages long. Which automatically knocks you down a tier for me. I hate that. Waffle House's menu is not as ridiculous. It's still big because it's breakfast style diner. But it's better. I like it. I've only ever been there very late at night because that's kind of their thing. That's the joke about Waffle Houses is they're open forever late. And maybe it just tastes better at midnight. I don't know. But Waffle House gets my A. That's where I'd rather put it.
Okay, so I've actually never been to Waffle House. But like here's how I always heard them compared. Go to Denny's if you want consistently mediocre food. Go to IHOP if you want good food or bad food, and go to Waffle House if you want to fight.
And they're not wrong. It's because of the area of the world. And it's also because Waffle House is open at 3 a.m., so it's kind of a running joke that drunk people and bands go to Waffle House because they're the only people who are out at 3 o'clock at night.
Wait, did you say drunk? Did you say drunk people and bands, or drunk people in bands?
Drunk people and bands.
Okay,
so touring bands or drunk people are the only people who go to Waffle House, and they're not really wrong because like 3 a.m. is when people are at Waffle House. But Waffle House is good. I was there at 2 a.m. after a concert one time, so like I completely get it. And yes, there are some people there that will probably try to fight you at 2 a.m., especially in Chicago where I was. Don't recommend it.
Fantastic.
Don't do it.
Sounds like fun. But yeah,
it wasn't fun.
Honestly, say I've never been to a Waffle House, so I can't. I can't, in good faith, give it best in class, even if it is. So best in class had to go to IHOP.
Understandably, but I shall give it best in class.
Yes, Brooke.
Waffle House is just IHOP with everybody there being greasy, tattooed, have a smoker's voice, and have missing teeth.
Okay, so IHOP.
IHOP in Richmond is just like that. There's a fantastic TikTok going around about this girl who works at Waffle House. I think it's Waffle House. And she looks kind of normal, and everyone says, "You don't work at Waffle House. You have all your teeth." And she's reading the comments, and during reading the comments, she pops out her 2 fake teeth, and it's the funniest thing I've seen in my entire life.
That's wonderful. Okay. Next one, Jack in the Box.
Never been to Jack in the Box. I understand you did on your return from the West Coast for your first time. That's what maybe I'm thinking of. Maybe I'm thinking of In-N-Out.
You're thinking of In-N-Out, yes.
In-N-Out.
And it was
never been.
While I was still on the West Coast. I didn't put In-N-Out on the list. There's nothing. I know you've never been. So here's the thing. To hear what everyone says, even if you had been to In-N-Out, I know you've never been to California. And everyone always says if you don't go to an In-N-Out in California, you have nothing to compare it to, and so therefore you may technically have an unjust opinion of the In-N-Out. My just opinion of the In-N-Out, having been there, it's like I give it the same. I give it the same score as Burger King, but reluctantly because it tastes like Burger King, but it tastes like Burger King, but it's more expensive. For you, so you said Jack in the Box. You've never been. For me, Jack in the Box gets an F. It is not good.
I drive by it a handful of times. I work in Miamisburg now, and I spend some time in Dayton area for work every once in a while. So I always drive by one, and I just like there's just something about it that I've just never. I've had so many opportunities to go, and I've always been like, eh.
So I've been to Jack in the Box twice. Once I stopped by there in Cuba, when I was
When you're in Cuba,
Cuba, Missouri.
yeah.
Yeah. Let me specify.
The real little Cuba.
Yeah. When going to on the way down here, I stopped there instead of Hardee's and regretted it. And then the only other time I've been to Jack in the Box was on my, I guess I'll call it my fake date with Sarah. It was Sarah wanted to hang out with me for a little bit before I left for the military, and she who shall not be named thought that since I was going to hang out with her, I was thought that since I was going to hang out with her, I was therefore going on a date with her. And she said, "You're not allowed to date her." And so for the rest of the time, I was pretending that it was a date because she said that.
Oh, so Sarah Summers.
Yeah, Sarah Summers.
Oh, I forgot about that. That's been so long ago.
Well, yeah, it was. It was 2013.
Yeah, that's a long time ago.
And I only know that because that's the year that I joined the military. Well,
that even sounds wrong. It sounds like it should be older than that, or longer, further back than not older than that.
Oh, that was 9 years ago.
I guess it is a long time, isn't it?
I mean,
my goodness, we're old, man.
When you're 30, 9 years is no longer a long time.
That's a solid point, I guess.
Okay, next, Jimmy John's.
You seem to like Jimmy John's more than I do.
I love Jimmy John's. So I'll go ahead and give my answer and explanation while you're saying this. I've been having you go first this whole time, but now I have to say it. Not only is Jimmy John's best in class, I've heard that Quiznos was best in class, never been. And I didn't put Quiznos on the list because I don't think that's not a place that either of us have gone to much, if at all.
I don't think they're around anymore.
Yeah. But Jimmy John's for me, best in class, automatic A, and it's just such a special thing. I love Jimmy John's so much. Jimmy John's for me does get an S. It's amazing.
An S. Wow. I won't make fun of you for that one like I have in the others. I want to, but I won't. So the thing about Jimmy John's, or what's the other thing? The same thing as Jimmy John's?
So
there's one here in Richmond now. I think it was here right before you left.
Yeah. So the only place I can think of that's even similar enough of a sandwich shop, but it's nowhere near the same thing as Penn Station.
Okay, no, that's not what I'm thinking of. What's the place? They put it in right by Walmart, right before you left. Is that a Jimmy John's? That's not Jimmy John's.
Jimmy John's is near Walmart. It's in that same cram-packed area of town, but it's not in that plaza area with Walmart.
I thought it was the other one. Either way, so that's Jimmy John's. Jimmy John's is fine. I'm fine with Jimmy John's. I've got no problem with Jimmy John's. I've never woken up and been like, I want a sub. Should I go to Subway, Jimmy John's, or Penn Station? You're hilarious. I will always go to Penn Station. I love Penn Station. I am, as the kids say, a slut for Penn Station. So I feel about Penn Station the way that you feel about Jimmy John's.
Yeah.
Jimmy John's is good though. I'd give Jimmy John's an A. I mean, like, so here's the thing. I used to go to Jimmy John's with some frequency. There's a guy that we used to record a lot of music with back in the day in Indy. And every time we would go to his house to record, we'd go to Jimmy John's all the time because he had a friend who worked there. And we got food very, very cheap. So we'd spend like $3 and get a giant sub. Because he give us like employee discounts or whatever. So I ate it a lot for a while. And in Indy, I loved it. It was very, very good. I had good memories of it being like, oh, this is a great place. I'm glad Richmond's getting one. I went twice since it's been here in Richmond. And it's been awful experience. One time, like we waited for 15 minutes and no one even came out to take our order,
Yeah.
like yelling at them and everything.
Mhm.
So that was pretty bad. And then the one time we went there and got food, it was pretty bad. So I don't know. I think it's just the recent experiences since it's been in town has kind of made it be blah for me. But it used to be really good. I'd give it. If you don't count Richmond, which whoever should, I'd give it. No, I still gotta say B. I gotta give it a B.
Jimmy John's B. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Next, Long John Silver's.
No. Just no.
F.
Yeah, I don't want to give it an F. I don't want to give it an F. I'll give it. Is it a full grading system? So just D to F.
A to F, actually.
No, but you know what I
With-
mean. There's no E.
Yeah. There's no E. Yeah, it's A to F with S and also a never been.
Are we counting Long John Silver's as a standalone or Long John Silver's A&W?
I have to just say Long John Silver's is a standalone.
D.
Yeah. So not our specific Long John Silver's building. Long John Silver's has a restaurant.
Yeah. We'll go D.
Yeah. Okay, so for me, Long John Silver's, especially when I have Captain D's to compare it to. I've never been to a place like Long John Silver's that had such disgusting food that tasted so good. I put it in my mouth and it tasted delicious, but that doesn't change the fact that it was disgusting.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. It's bad. I think you and I obviously have a nostalgia connection.
Yeah.
Our great grandmother was a big fan of Long John Silver. Huge fan of Long John Silver.
Yeah. I've also given
we
it
ate
a
a lot
D,
with
by
her.
the way. Yeah.
Say what?
So I've also given it a D, by the way.
I think the nostalgia factor saves it from being a complete failure. And the simple fact that if you go, I'll give them credit for this part. If you say, I would like to order an entire order of your fish and I'll have some fries, they would go, sure, we can do that. And they said, hey, and would you, for free, throw in a crap ton of just the fried crap? They're like, yeah, man, you can have that.
So here's where they here's where they done effed up, Ron. And that's this. Now the crumbs are a menu item and you pay for them.
This is true. No, this is true. But that's only if you don't order a meal.
I wasn't so lucky. I ordered a meal and they still charged me for the crumbs.
Well, then maybe I was lucky or maybe they hate you. Oh, hold on one second.
Could be.
What, baby? Yeah, you got it. It doesn't really taste. It's still coffee, so it doesn't really taste like blueberry super strong. But we'll put creamer and stuff in it, so it'll taste good. Okay. Okay. Mwah.
All right. Next, McDonald's.
You know, part of me wants to pretend to be a little bit sophisticated. Not that we ever could after anyone has ever heard us talk before.
Did you say Arlie wants to pretend to be a little sophisticated?
I said part of me.
Oh, part of me.
Part of me. You know, the infant child here. I gotta give it an A. Out of sheer respect. And because I'll be out and we'll be going somewhere, and if we're like, Ellie's like, hey, I don't really have to, we spent longer doing this than I thought we would. I don't really have time to cook. If we cook, we're not going to have time to do this thing that we wanted to do or this thing. Should we just get fast food? And you've been there before, obviously. And your answer is, yeah, let's just get some fast food. No big deal. The number of times we end up still getting McDonald's is shockingly high.
Yeah. Yeah. So here's the thing for McDonald's for me. I choose to get McDonald's breakfast sometimes on the way to work. The second thing is, other than the hash brown that I get, I don't like it. Like, so there's something about McDonald's is the only place that I'm like, I'm going to go there and I know I'm not going to enjoy my experience, but it's just so dang cheap. I can't, like if I'm going to buy food, I might as well spend as little money as possible. But I never enjoy my experience buying food from McDonald's. Like it's not good food. Like even after they released the new spicy McChicken, that's better than the standard McChicken.
I'll deviate from you a tiny bit. I
Mhm.
have had a handful of experiences, not a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a handful of experiences where I walked away going like, "Holy crap!
Mm-hmm.
Well done. That was great."
I used to be that way with the fillet of fish, but then the last couple times, like the fillet of fish, borderline made me sick.
Which is fair.
Yeah, like it's just I don't I don't like McDonald's, but I still go there. It's I've gotten to the point where I'm like Jim Gaffigan. You go to McDonald's because it's cheap, but then you're almost embarrassed when you see your friend there, and now he's embarrassed to see you because neither of you really wants to be at McDonald's.
Now you're both at McDonald's. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
he's not wrong.
Yeah. So because of that, I don't like it. It is not. I do not enjoy eating at McDonald's, but because there are occasions when I still choose to go there, I refuse to give it the lowest score, and so I am giving it a D. I will give McDonald's the D.
Giggity. I no. I gotta. I out of sheer respect and the fact that I still have had good meals there, and the number of times they've pulled me out of a pinch with running around with kids who are starving. We still got an hour to go somewhere. I gotta give them. I gotta give it an A. I gotta do it.
Yeah, and that's fair. I'm not gonna not gonna argue with your score on there. I can't give them the highest I could possibly give them is a C, but I'm not feeling charitable today. Okay. Next, Panda Express.
Oh, Panda Express is phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Holy cow. If we are anywhere with our family, the entire family, and when I say the entire family, I guess I technically meant my group of 5 screaming women in the car with me, 4 screaming women in the car with me, 5 of us total.
Yeah.
This is the case, but it's also the case if we were out as a family unit with our family. And we saw Panda Express, that's where we're going to go now. I think they have to get an S tier because there is something really special about Panda Express.
Yeah.
Because it's fast food, and it's genuine fast food. You order it through the drive-thru. By the time you get to the end and you pay, it's almost just as quick as McDonald's, if not only a slight bit different. Very fast. It's very good. It's very good. Yeah, there's just no way this doesn't get an S ranking. Panda Express is probably the GOAT of fast food. Because they're still true fast food. They have the small dining room. They have the kind of Subway / Chipotle experience, of walking down, picking your food out if you're there. But if you're going to the drive-thru, you just look at the menu, you hit the buttons, and 3 minutes later, you're driving down the road with your food. I think they're the go-to fast food.
Yeah. Can't be beat, honestly. Panda Express, yeah, quite literally unbeatable. It's fantastic. No way I could add to what you have. Here's the only reason why I haven't been getting more Panda than what I have been. That's 2 reasons. One, why would I go and get fast food when I have leftovers from yesterday's supper to take to work?
Sure.
And the only other reason is I actually cannot order from Panda Express at my work because on DoorDash they've removed white rice from their menu on DoorDash. So I have to get it with fried rice, and I don't like their fried rice.
No, I don't either.
And that's the only way I can get food from there is if I want to get fried rice. And I love fried rice, just not from there. That's the only not good thing on their entire menu is fried rice. Their huge, enormous menu only has 1 bad item on it.
Yeah. We have on more than one occasion driven to Muncie just to get Panda Express. So that's where we stand with Panda Express. It's the best.
The only reason why we don't drive, it's only like 20 minutes to get to the one in Owasso. But the reason why we don't do that is because then there would be some obligation to do our shopping at the Owasso Walmart. And I like my Walmart better. That's the only reason why we don't go out there to get Panda.
Odd, but okay.
Yeah. All right, next. Penn Station.
I love Penn Station. I love Penn Station. I'll give them their best in class rating since we have established there's at least 3 places that do their thing. I won't go above that because they're not that kind of special for me. They're an A.
Okay. So,
but they're an easy A.
yeah. So you gave Penn Station an automatic A. So I already gave my sandwich shop S to Jimmy John's. But I'm still gonna go ahead and give Penn Station the same. They're both so freaking amazing, just in completely different ways. Yeah, like, is Jimmy John's or Penn Station better than each other? Depends on if you're in the mood for a hot sandwich or a cold sandwich. No better hot sandwich than Penn Station. No better cold sandwich than Jimmy John's.
That's fair. I'll give you that. Yeah. I feel like even though it is pretty special for me, the reason why I didn't give it an S ranking was only because we were talking about S rankings have to be something special, and I just gave it an S ranking to Panda. And I'm just like, I know why they're special. I don't know what makes Penn Station special. They're just very good. Because I can drive down the opposite direction just a few minutes and go by Toasted, which is close to my house, and have just something that I will say is an absolute S ranking because their hot sandwich is out of this world.
Yeah, that's a local place, so it's hard to compare that to the fast food place.
Oh no, you're absolutely right. But I mean, like, that's what's separating it in my mind.
So Toasted must be a fantastic place that everyone goes to a lot, because I've been told that every single day when Trevor goes there, he sees you there.
Yeah,
and sometimes he'll go there twice a day, and he'll see you both times.
It's very, very good. It's very, very cheap. The people there are phenomenal people, and I love them all. When I took Ren to school, we went to Toasted every morning. Every once in a while, we'd have a morning where she was like wanting something a little bit different. But their menu is huge, which normally is a turnoff for me. But it's every single item on their menu is flawless. I still go there for tacos.
Yeah.
For tacos.
Okay, so if you don't go to so if you've never had this exact combination from Penn Station, get it today. It's this: the Philly cheesesteak in 12-inch format. Yeah, so the classic, of course, the meat they use, the provolone cheese they use, and get onions and mushrooms, not banana peppers, then the hot mustard and extra mayonnaise. Get that exact configuration, and it will literally change your life.
It sounds quite delicious. I'll have to do that.
Okay, next, Sonic.
We're going to do a quick pause before I give the answer, because I'm making coffee for the kids real quick.
Okay.
Yes, baby.
While you're pausing, I can give my answer. Sonic is the weirdest thing. Their food is borderline disgusting. They have coney dogs with the shredded cheese on them, and the shredded cheese is literally just shredded Velveeta. It's horrid. It's so bad. I have never, though, in my entire life, gone to Sonic because I wanted Sonic's food. I go to Sonic to get drinks. I don't think of Sonic as a food place. Sonic is a drink shop. And knowing that, keeping that in mind, that it is a drink shop and a drink shop only, it gets S rank. If I was taking their food into consideration, it would be an F. But it is only a drink shop, and that causes it to be S.
I've had their food before. I've never been particularly happy with it.
Yeah. No one likes Sonic food.
No, I don't think so. My wife likes it much more than I do. So if we're out somewhere and she sees it, she'll want to stop and get something. Where were we last time we got it? We were on our way to Nashville, Indiana, and we found one. She wanted to go. It's just not. I'm trying to think of something redeeming off the menu that I could point to and go, well, there's this. They're like a C.
Yeah. So for me, when I go to Sonic, or here's how I go to Sonic. I'm like, I'd like a drink. I'll go to Sonic, or I'll say, I'll go to some other place and get food, and then I won't have gotten a drink at that place, so I can go to Sonic and get my drink.
I would do that.
Yeah, that's how I treat Sonic. They have the best drinks in the world. By the way, I know you don't have one near you, but if you're in an area that has one, get a Sprite with cherry flavor and raspberry flavor, and if you want to put their boba in it, put the boba in it. If you don't want to put the boba and leave it at that. If you don't care about boba, have them put nerds in it.
Okay.
So it's Sprite, cherry, raspberry, and nerds is the best flavor, but the nerds and the boba do not mix well together. So only pick one. If you want boba, don't get nerds.
I've had a combination of a couple different things today that I like quite a lot.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I don't like coconut very much at all.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a girl that I used to work with that would get something called coconut water.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a blue raspberry. That's enough, baby. It was like a blue raspberry drink with coconut water.
Mm-hmm.
It was actually quite nice.
That's probably their ocean water, I would imagine.
Ocean water. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I've never had the ocean water because I wasn't sure exactly what it was. But
because it's yummy.
now, and you can get a slush and add flavors to it. And I thought about just getting a blue raspberry cherry slush, and they do this
Yeah, I've heard
too.
slushes more than anything else.
Yeah, you can get.
You're welcome, baby.
You can get a Red Bull slush, and sometimes they'll have the crazy flavors of Red Bull. And so, like when they had the Red Bull Summer Edition, and I know it was the Winter Edition. It was the Winter Edition. The Red Bull Winter Edition for a while was dragon fruit, and so I would get a dragon fruit Red Bull slush, and that was so good. Okay, Steak and Shake. Hey, buddy.
Steak and Shake would be a lot better if I hadn't always had the one here in town for so many years.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with Steak and Shake is that it's a franchise restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
Which means if you have someone buy it who's a useless piece of crap, and they hire a bunch of useless pieces of crap, you're going to have a store that's ran by useless pieces of crap.
So you're saying you didn't like the Richmond Steak and Shake very much?
The Richmond Steak and Shake was terrible. And I'm going to throw a quick distinction out here.
Mm-hmm.
When people get so angry about Chick-fil-A having a very aggressive
baby just
vetting
ripped my headphones off
process.
my head.
Babies are good for that.
Okay, you said I'm going to make a quick distinction here. Last thing I heard.
Yes, so the quick distinction is people get angry about the amount of vetting and how aggressive the vetting is for Chick-fil-A when they pick who is allowed to be a franchisee of their restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
Steak and Shake does not do any of that. They just allow anyone with 10 grand can buy the rights to a Steak and Shake restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
That is the reason why all Chick-fil-A's are phenomenal and why a huge percentage of Steak and Shakes are at least ran by morons.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The food at Steak and Shake is fine. I like it just fine. They have very good super smash burgers, and they have good milkshakes.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, the one in Richmond, I would order milkshakes and be in the drive-thru for 45 minutes. Now, granted, mind you, I was at work and on the clock, so I wasn't super mad, but that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
If you go inside and order food, you'll be there for an hour. That's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
So, Richmond, you once again have ruined something for me. What normally would have been a B is now a C. Because of that, I never stop. When I'm out somewhere else and it's a place that people are like, this one's good, don't care, not going, not risking it. C.
Yeah. My favorite, I gave it a B. I do enjoy
That's
their
very
food
fair.
when I get it. Yeah. My favorite Steak and Shake experience of all time was when our friend Courtney was just recovering from stomach surgery, and she was like I said, okay, so she had to. What she could eat was limited for like a week, and then she was finally able to eat. They said, okay, you can eat now. Go, you're fine to eat stuff. And so she decided that the thing she wanted to go was to go to Steak and Shake and get chili.
Idiot.
And that was my favorite experience there because she was just sitting there dying in the corner. Why did I eat chili? It was fantastic.
Yeah, our valedictorian, everyone. That's another story for another time.
Okay. Taco Bell.
They're the greatest. I mean, they're always there for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Man, I'm struggling not to give them an S. I really am.
Yeah. Well,
They're perfect. Think about how many actual ingredients that you've got to make all their menu items.
okay. So, as a person who's worked at Taco Bell, I can tell you. These are the ingredients that you have to work with. When I worked there are actually fewer ingredients now. But these are the
Has the
ingredients.
changes, but yes.
Yeah, but yeah, these are the ingredients that I had to work with, and they've removed some of these, so know that there's even fewer now. There was cilantro rice, Mexican rice, refried beans, beef, chicken, shredded chicken, steak, guacamole, the three spices or the three sauces. I mean, sour cream, lettuce, tomato, onion, cheddar cheese, 3 cheese, and black beans.
So that's 18.
And romaine lettuce. There's 2 kinds of lettuce.
No, okay. We're gonna call it. That's stupid. There's 18. 18 total ingredients
To make
a
all
massive
their menu
food.
items.
Now I know for a fact that number is closer to like 13 now. That is phenomenal. Phenomenal. You should be proud of that, and I'm sure they are. Yeah, I gotta give it an S ranking because it's good, it's cheap, and just the ability. I mean, I think your overhead must be so much lower because you're never throwing away giant batches of ingredients like anyone else would be. Good job, Taco Bell.
Yeah, so I had to give it an S given our ranking system. I wish I had a special ranking system just for Taco Bell. Because here's my thing on this. There is not a single place on this earth, as far as fast food goes, that is better than Taco Bell. Also, there's not a single fast food place on this earth that is worse than Taco Bell. It is completely outside the normal chain of command of restaurants.
Yeah, it is in its own universe.
Like, what is it like? How do you rate Taco Bell? It's Taco Bell.
Yeah, it's like last time I was at Taco Bell, I had the worst meal ever. I'm never going back. Well, except for tonight when we go to Taco Bell. Well, yeah, of course.
Well, that was the best summation I've ever heard. Was that guy on Twitter? I had Taco Bell. I was like, "What'd you get? Diarrhea, but it was worth it."
Yeah, well done, Taco Bell. You broke the code. You deserve everything.
Yep. All right, the very last one on our list is Wendy's.
That's the last one.
That's the last one. There are a few other places I could have added on here, but we've been at this for an hour and 20 minutes, so
it's long enough.
Yeah.
I don't really put them very high. I don't like them very much. I'm okay with them. So they're the better version of McDonald's, right? If McDonald's is for kids, then Wendy's is for adults. They cost a little bit more. Did you leave this in there because you were supposed to leave it in there? Very proud of you. Just making sure. That's a good question. What do we put them at? I give them a B.
A B? Okay.
A B because the burgers are quite good, and they always do the fresh, never frozen, and I think I believe them, judging by the way their burgers taste. I think I believe them. I think I believe their chicken is better. It's good chicken. Their burgers are better. Their fries, I can tell, are probably better for you. They taste like they're better for you.
Yep.
Which also means not as good. Their chicken nuggets are not the greatest. They're passable, but they're not great. But then again, they're cheap enough to where it reflects. They're just solid. They're not great. They're not a standout. They're solid.
Okay. So, for me, there's no way you could say there's a better burger place than Five Guys as far as fast food goes.
Accurate.
Five Guys is the absolute best burger place, fast food burger place, period. And so Wendy's doesn't even get best in class, but only for that reason. So Wendy's does not get the automatic A for being best in class. Wendy's, because of its own merits, because of how amazing and fatty and fantastic their burgers are, Wendy's was, by my own decision, bumped up to an A by its own merits. As far as your classic drive-through burger places, therefore I can't count Five Guys on that list. Of course, there is none of the classic drive-through burger places that is better than Wendy's. It's so good to me. I love Wendy's as far as fast food goes. If I'm picking if I'm picking among the big three, right? Burger King, McDonald's, Wendy's. there is never a time that I would not pick Wendy's out of those three.
Really?
Mm.
I feel like sometimes I still pick outside. That's the reason why I said bees. There are, excuse me. There's sometimes I still pick outside of that.
No. If I'm picking between the best three. Yeah, like if I have the best, or not the best three, if I have the big three to pick between, and that's all I have is Burger King, McDonald's, Wendy's, and those are my only options, then I will always pick Wendy's. It's not that I will always pick among the big three, but if my options are only the big three, Wendy's will always be my choice.
Okay, well, I'll rephrase. If I'm picking between those three, I would very, very rarely pick Burger King.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this is where the nostalgia factor is actually hitting me.
Mm-hmm.
We never went to Wendy's.
Mm-hmm.
Ever as kids. I mean, we probably did once or twice if someone else was buying. Mom and Dad never went to Wendy's.
Yeah.
Once every, I don't know, maybe twice a month. When double cheeseburgers were $1 a piece, we would go to McDonald's. We'll say twice a month. That was going out to eat for us, by the way.
Yep.
I mean, you know that obviously, but that was going out to eat for us. They were like, you can get 2 sandwiches today, and you can get 2 double cheeseburgers. Or then we got to the point where it's like, you can get, now they have the chicken thing. Because I remember when the McChicken came out. You can get a McChicken and you can get a double cheeseburger. And I started putting them together and making McGangbangs years before anyone else was. I don't care what anyone on the internet says. I was one of the first people to do it. You all can bite me.
And also that twice a month may have been a little generous.
It might be a little generous. It might be more like once a month, or 3 times every 2 months. Might actually be a better guesstimate.
Yep.
Thrice in a 2-month period, and leave it be. And it kind of made it to where McDonald's felt special. It's not.
Yeah. So
obviously, but it felt special to us, and I think that's where where that's coming from for me.
Yeah. So my kid brain defines special a little bit differently. Because for us, if we were going to go out to eat, it was going to be McDonald's. Therefore, if anything else happened, that was the special thing. And so those few times that we went to Wendy's, Dad was just randomly in the mood for some fast food chili, and so he wanted to stop by Wendy's and get chili.
That is what he would get. That's true.
And then we'd go there and we'd get a the junior sandwich. And like it was just a classic regular sandwich, but you go to McDonald's and you get a bun, a burger, ketchup, these little like onions that look like rice, and some nasty cheese, and that was your burger at McDonald's. But then you get your basic burger at Wendy's, and the cheese isn't nasty, and it's a good burger, and they have like actual ring of onion and lettuce, and I was like, wow. And it was so crazy.
You're making a good point. There's 2 things that you're missing. I'm going to throw a match a little bit here. One, if we were ever going to go out, what we'd do is we'd go to Subway on Sunday afternoon. The reason being is that way Mom wouldn't have to cook 2 meals. And we would eat half of our footlong for lunch and the other half of our footlong for supper, was the idea.
Yeah.
Which I almost always just ate my footlong for lunch and had a bowl of cereal for supper because the footlong is good. So we did that a lot. So there's some nostalgia factor for Subway. By the way, I still order the same sub that I did when I was probably 7. I refuse to change. It's delicious. Come at me. The other thing is I'm kind of leaning more towards your answer with the Wendy's, because the more I think about it, like when Aunt Darla would take us to a restaurant. No, she wouldn't take us to a restaurant. She let you get whatever you wanted from fast food. Excuse me, which, by the way, doesn't sound like a big deal to a lot of people, but I mean, I was 19 years old before I started getting whatever I wanted from fast food. So when she was like, you can get whatever you want, I'm like, we're going to Wendy's, I'm getting a triple cheeseburger. And I did every time.
Yeah.
So maybe I should have changed. I'm going to stick by my answer because it was my gut reaction, and I want to stick with it. But maybe I should have gone with an A instead of a B.
And that's fair. All right. And also, I didn't even put Subway on the list. I don't know if I should have or not. I don't think about Subway anymore. The Subway that we have here, like, Subway is one of those things that your individual restaurant will change your experience. and the Subway we have here is flat disgusting.
Yeah.
And so I don't even think about Subway anymore. But that's my bad for not putting it on the list. But we finished up the list. We've been at this for an hour and a half. Before I go down the list and give our average rankings, if something is in between two rankings, should I say it's in between the two, or should I round up, or should I round down?
So technically speaking, mathematically, we'd be rounding up if it was dead in the middle.
Okay. Then I will, anytime we have a split ranking, I will round up. In that case, Five Guys, Chick-fil-A, Panda Express, Taco Bell, and Penn Station all get S rankings.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm. Captain D's, Culver's, Jimmy John's, Sonic, and Wendy's get A rankings.
Mm.
Hardee's, IHOP, Burger King, Dairy Queen, Fazoli's, McDonald's, and Steak and Shake all get B ratings. Hold on. A's, yeah, and then B's, and then there's only one that averaged out to a C, and that was Waffle House. And that averaged out to a C because Never Been is a 0. So you gave them an A, and I had to give a 0. It averaged up 2.5, which averaged up to a 3, a C. Long John Silver's and Denny's got D's.
As they should.
And Jack in the Box got an F.
That's a really good ranking. It's really fair.
Mm-hmm.
That's spot on, and I'm not going to fight it.
Okay. So I stole this episode idea from another podcast, but that's okay because I guarantee you there is zero, other than me, there is zero overlap of listeners of that podcast and this one. So I'm perfectly okay with having stolen it.
I'm perfectly okay with you having stolen it too.
Yeah. All right.
You know why I'm pumped?
Oh, what's that?
Well, this is almost off topic, but I just walked by something that reminded me of it. We are now officially 2 weeks away from the Renaissance Festival. I've been waiting all year. I'm so excited. I had the last of my stuff for one of my costumes because we are dressing up multiple times this year. There's few things in the world that bring me more joy than walking around dressed up like an absolute moron and just bringing a horn full of mead with me. It's the most exciting time of the year, and I refuse to not talk about it.
Best Walmart experience.
Best Walmart experience. Third year in a row that you won't be there, giant douche.
Third year?
Third year.
I was there 2 years ago.
You will not be there this year. You were not there last year. I'm pretty confident you weren't there the year before. At the very least, we didn't go together.
You know what? That was 2020. I did move here in 2020. Good Lord. Yeah, it will be third year in a row. Holy crap.
So tell Brooke to quit being so pregnant.
Brooke, I was told to tell you to quit being so pregnant so we can have opportunities to go to the Renaissance Festival again.
It's really all her fault. Well, I guess it's really all your fault.
What?
What does this have to do with going to the Renaissance Festival?
Because when the Renaissance Festival happens, is you'll be far enough along in your pregnancy that travel will be difficult.
Oh.
As long as she knows it's her fault. That's all I'm worried about.
Yeah, Todd just wanted to make sure, as long as you knew it was your fault, that's all that matters. Okay, well, yeah, I didn't even get to go to ours this year because all the stuff that was going on.
Come to ours?
Yeah. She wants to know why you didn't come to ours.
You did invite me.
I did.
I don't think you did.
I invited you back in April. Ours is in June, and it's so you guys all need to come down to ours.
In June. Are there any holidays in June?
Like legally, yes. Juneteenth.
So no, got it.
Yeah.
Fine, we'll come next year if you come next year.
Okay, do my best. I will absolutely try to do that. Oh, okay. So here's the deal. Do you know what Juneteenth is? I think it's hilarious. So I do. Yeah. I think it's so funny. Juneteenth is the date that a certain group of slaves, specifically in Texas, were freed. Like, what
Specifically-
does that have to
specifically
do
in
with
Texas.
anything?
Well, the idea was that it was
Literally
the
just in
last group.
Texas.
Yeah, it was that it was the last
They
group.
weren't even the last
Supposedly.
group. It wasn't
But they-
even the last group.
But they thought they were. There's probably some jokes to be made there that we definitely shouldn't make. So
But yeah. Anyways, yeah, that's neither here nor there. Yeah. Join us next week when we talk about something different. Bye.